think so.
Hey guys, thank you for coming tonight. I'm John.
I'm also John. And
Separate people, a little bit confusing. I'm a programmer.
And I'm a financial analyst. We're two of the co-founders of Art and Res. That's great timing. We've got a few other people in the house tonight who are part of the Art and Res team. Michael Klein, one of our founders. My wife Noni over there. Cheers. And our fearless intern, Marshall. And yeah, we are the Art and Res team. And we're basically a bunch of normal people with a very ambitious idea that we're going to tell you about tonight. And most of you already know what it is, which is why you're here, so thank you for being here. So we have a lot of artists in the crowd tonight, obviously, and a lot of our collectors too, and some friends and family. Thank you for being here, seriously, it means a lot to us. It's super exciting that people are really enthusiastic about this thing that we're building and really believe in it, and we do too. And for the people who don't know what this is, we're going to explain a little bit about the origin story and what this is. Johnny, talk about the discovery problem.
Alright, so I have this kind of like little capsule version of what we're working on that I like to tell everyone. So maybe you've heard this before. But my background is in art, and I know a bunch of artists, and I know this thing about the world, that there are all these people making art who don't necessarily sell everything that they produce. Maybe they want to, but maybe not everything's going to be sold. Right? And so there are all these pretty amazing artworks existing in people's studios, some of them just kind of sitting there collecting dust. And there are also a lot of people in the world who would get joy out of those artworks. And it would be really amazing to bring those people together, but it's been hard for those people to find each other. Like, how would you find the other type of person if you're one of these two people, right? And so I think that Art and Res creates the possibility for those two people to find each other, hopefully, for the first time. And that, I think, is really the heart of what we're working on.
Yeah, the other half of this is that even though there are all these great artworks out in the world, and we're really excited for our collectors to actually go on the site. And some of you have already been on there, but actually go look at them and be like, wow, I can, this is like right in my neighborhood, or there's like this incredible artist like right around the corner, or just subway stop away, or something like that. The options that are available to collectors right now, just in our opinion, aren't really that great. I mean, you can go to a gallery and maybe some people can afford to work in a gallery. I can't. Or you can go on Etsy and sift through a bunch of like shit, hoping for something decent. So we're really serious about the quality of the artwork on our site and of the artists we have, not just as producers of artwork, but as people. And yeah, we're really excited for you to actually use the platform. So we'll talk a little bit about what is it? What is Art and Res? Most of you guys know, but some of you don't. Art and Res is a peer-to-peer, try before you buy art marketplace. So you actually get to see the art on your wall before you commit to buying it. And we think that's a really great product for people who are just starting to collect art, and also people who are really enthusiastic about collecting art, really want to use it too. We have 40 artists right now, about 300 artworks, and frankly I think they're really great. Actually, John has to remind me like all the time I can't buy them myself because we have to let our collectors have a chance. Also, we need to save for our runway.
This is all true.
Even though the origin story is about me, I actually like how John tells it.
So, art and res is John's idea. It's a really great idea. I was actually a tough sell originally.
You are on a lot of things.
Yeah, I suppose maybe that's true. I don't know. Anyway, I was skeptical at first, but it is to John's credit that he was able to persuade me, and I got on board, and I'm all in. I think it's a really good idea, and it is fully to John's credit. So he had this idea that he could take some of the barriers to entry out of buying art, right? That the gallery world is really deliberately intimidating, and it's hard for a normal person to have access to it. And it also poses a lot of barriers to entry to artists. It's this thing that kind of keeps a lot of people out, and we're interested in quality of art being high, but not necessarily the exclusive part of all this. So John had this idea, and he also has, I don't know, I think you mentioned this, but his day job is that he's a financial analyst. So he gets paid to think about whether a company is a good idea or not. So he has this kind of like esoteric skill where he can like pop open Excel and put in all these numbers. It like goes over my head. But he's apparently very good at it. So just saying.
Okay.
And so he took the art and res idea that it was just this thing bouncing around in his head, and did his thing that he does, and put it in Excel, and was like, holy shit, this is actually a thing that could work as a business. And then I think probably the next thing he did was call me, because that's what I would do. I don't actually know what came after that, but that's when he decided to actually start working on it. And at some point after that, we started working together with Michael and Noni. I don't know, does that fill out the origin story?
Pretty much. The only other thing that I think is important to the origin story is Noni's backstory.
Oh yeah.
And Noni's backstory. Quick shout out to Jack Hollingsworth in the crowd tonight, who is also like part of Noni's backstory, because they are creative collaborators. They're performers, actors, musicians, comedy dance performers,
and now collectors.
Comedy dance performers, champions. There was a period of like 5 years that Noni and I have been living together for like 6 years, where every time Noni saved up some money from her part-time job, whether it was like working till like 5 in the morning, like selling burgers, or like, you know, working 14-hour days on set at HBO, or whatever it was, you know, teaching preschool kids or doing daycare and bike tours. That money would get saved, and it would be like a few $1,000s, and then it would all get like funneled back into creating more art. And we always thought that was like a great investment. Like we always just felt, I'm super proud of the portfolio that Noni has built and Jack has built. Like I was there for a lot of it personally. It was really incredible stuff. It's like really, you know, it's stuff I really like care about and watch and just like cherish. And we want that to happen more. We just want to like speed up that flywheel, like flick that flywheel and just have it spin faster, and you spend more time on that. So that's an important part of this too. So art and res is peer-to-peer, which is I think a pretty special part of what it is. It's not another like you sit on your couch in your pajamas and like buy stuff and you're like, oh, like I can't wait for this to come get delivered to me in a few days. You actually go to the studio, or the artist comes to you, but typically you go to the studio and you actually meet the artist. You can ask about their influences, inspiration, process. Sometimes studio visits get like kind of personal. They're pretty like intimate experiences a lot of the time. It's really exciting. It's also something that's like really foreign to non-art world people. Like people who aren't in the art world just don't know what a studio visit is, and it's a really, really fun, cool, powerful thing. So that is like the cornerstone of what art and res is you have a studio visit before, and you have this context for the work you bring home. It's not just something that arrives at your doorstep. John, do you want to opine on studio visits a bit more?
How many people are artists here tonight? I don't know, I used to be a practicing artist. And I love making art, but one of the best parts of being an artist is doing a studio visit with a fellow artist, right? Is going into someone else's space that's like this incredibly intimate space where they just figure out, I don't know, whatever it is they're obsessed with, whatever it is that gives their life meaning right then. And it's this kind of, living in New York can be really hectic. You're just like always running from one thing to another. It's hard to make it. But the studio visit can be this kind of like time outside of time where you like are able to delve deep into the poetries and nuances of life that make it, in many respects, worth living. And it's this thing that artists all have access to, and we do it with each other, and we get to know each other in this really deep way. And from working on art in res, it's been pretty clear to me that it's an experience that a lot of people could have with artists, and there's so much that you can learn about another person and their humanity and your own humanity by just really going deep on what someone is working on, what they're working on because they believe in it, not because of some other reason. So a studio visit is just a really amazing thing, and I don't know, I hope people are able to do them through this platform.
So there's like a deeper reason why we're doing this other than, you know, it's an idea that people got excited about, collectors and artists. There's a really depressing statistic that I almost like didn't want to share, but I'm going to, because that's what I do. 90% of MFA graduates are no longer producing art 5 years after they graduate. There are a lot of reasons for that, probably, but one is just it's hard to support yourself on art when you're a young artist. Having a support network could be another part of it. Our mission is to take that number down, hopefully significantly, but at first, you know, just for this intimate community of artists that are participating in Art and Res, there are a lot of people, it's demonstrable from like this turnout tonight, that are interested in your artwork and really serious about it. And that's, we want to put a dent in that. Make it easier to be an artist, be the most pro-artist platform we can be. Yes, let's thank some people. There are a lot of people to thank tonight. Yeah, okay, number one, the artist who inspired this all, where is he? Jesse. Jesse was the first studio visit I ever did, at his old place in Bushwick. And I was just like blown away by how diligent, tireless Jesse is as an artist, prolific. But also, we just had such an amazing time doing that first studio visit. I met your wife. I met your pets. We had wine. We talked about the universe. You know, it was.
Sounds like Kanye's speech, right?
It was really special. It was unforgettable. I also bought a bunch of Jesse's work.
Yeah.
I was totally captivated. I think it's something that's going to happen a lot
Your
more.
enthusiasm is more contagious, I think, for me. And maybe you feel the same way, but
Yeah,
just hearing you talk about the app, I was just like, every time you spoke about it, so engaged, like, wow, what, really? That's awesome. I want to try it. Just, yeah, let me know when it's ready to go. So it's always been an interesting ride to hear you speak about it.
Appreciate that.
Yeah, cheers.
Our guest of honor, maybe? Nina Colada, here from Houston, Texas. Flew in today to Texas. There weren't many people. there weren't many people I talked to about this idea before John. John was like, I think number 3. Noni was number 1. Nina was number 2. Nina is a lawyer now, and she's doing big things. But Nina was a curator in New York, and Nina is a true art lover, and I really, really, really respect her opinion, and her telling us to go for it was massive. Because I have a lot of ideas, but this was one that I took really seriously. It was like we started work on this like a week after we had the idea. David Kim, ex-lawyer. Still a lawyer. Still
Always.
Technically a lawyer, still legally a lawyer, but once upon a time was working 80 hours a week in a big law firm and still made time somehow to help us with our legal stuff. So clap it up for David. No Corey. Corey and
Wait, Corey. He is here.
Corey, just in time. Corey and Dan.
John is right here. I don't know, these guys gave us a lot of really amazing feedback on the early app. They're sort of informal members of the team. It's much better than it would otherwise have been without them.
Yeah.
So, I don't know.
Brian Loftus, is he here?
Brian Loftus, he's in the back over there.
Brian works at Marion Goodman. He met with me really early on. He also was a big supporter of the idea. He gave me so much useful advice, a lot of stuff technical stuff that someone like him would know. Thank you, Brian. This was a really exciting one. Kenneth Paris.
Yeah.
Kenneth painted original works for Art and Res, which is an Art and Res first. They're really awesome. They're really awesome. I'm excited for you guys to see them. Andrea Calderese and Silas Borsos, artist number 1 and 2. Adam Henry and Emily Mae Smith. I don't know if they're here tonight, but they're our artists, close artist friends who also were big supporters. And Byron Wu, who Byron. This is Byron's beautiful space, guys.
Thank you.
Take us home, John.
All right, take us home, John.
All right, guys, we want this to be intimate, but we also want it to be vague. We're embarking on a journey. And your fellow travelers are in the room with you tonight. So let's drink together and have an amazing time. Thank you guys so much. Wait, I'm sorry. One last note.
Oh yeah, we have.
Yeah.
So for the people who are actually on the platform here tonight, the collectors and artists, we have goodie bags for you. They're by the front by the map if you didn't see them. For the collectors, there's a note in your bag that lets you know that every one of you has a $50 credit towards your first purchase. So the artist will still get full price for your piece. We're paying $50.
Buy
you
some
guys.
art, baby.
Buy some art!
All right, drink.
How do we do? Okay, good.
Alcohol, both of us. Good job.
Hey man, good to see you.